Welcome to the Miami Heat by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff, and we are coming to you right after the loss against the Milwaukee Bucks, where the Heat collapsed yet again in the fourth quarter. But that is not what the bad news is for the Heat. If you did not watch tonight's game, well, I got terrible news for you. Nikola Jovic is hurt, and he is seriously injured. Nikola Jovic did not return after playing pretty much the entire second half. He left the game late in the first half, rubbing his hand. His hand was getting looked at. And then in halftime, the Heat sent out a tweet that Nikola Jovic suffered a fractured second metacarpal on his right hand and won't return tonight. And if you are someone who has followed the Miami Heat over the past couple of years, you would know that the Heat have a history of suffering fractured/broken hands in Milwaukee. In 2023, in the first game of the 8-1 series between Miami and the Bucks, Tyler Hero broke his hand in Milwaukee and was out for 2+ months and could not return, even though the Heat made it all the way to the NBA Finals. I am not going to speculate on how long Nikola Jovic is going to be out. The recovery times for a fractured metacarpal injury is all over the map. It is all dependent on whether surgery is needed. And make sure you stay subscribed to the channel, because when there is an official update on Nikola Jovic's status for the remainder of the season, we will let you know, so hit that sub button. But hopefully surgery will not be required, and hopefully he could return by the end of the year. Miami now is a 26-29 record following this loss to Milwaukee, so they have 27 games left, spanning over 2 months in mid-April. It's going to be dicey to see if he can return. I would probably give it a 50-50 chance he returns this season, but the reason why this is such a bummer is because the only reason you were watching and looking for the rest of the season, everybody knows the Heat are not going to contend. They are not going to be able to win a playoff series. This team stinks, and they just consistently blow leads, and we could have a different conversation for a different day about Erik Spoelstra and some of the personnel on this roster. But specifically speaking on Jovic and what the ideal outcome for the rest of the season was, it was to watch this young core grow together, how they play together, they gain chemistry, and see if they can produce winning basketball. Who is that young core? Tyler Hero, who, by the way, had 40 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds today. Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, and Nikola Jovic. To me, those are the 4 players that you were building around. Yeah, Andrew Wiggins is nice. Davion Mitchell is cool as well. But for the future of this organization, those are the 4 players that I am building around. If you move one of those others like Wiggins, Mitchell, to upgrade around those 4, yeah, that's what you do. But you're going forward with a core of those 4. But now that this season has been robbed of that, Nikola Jovic is likely going to be out for an extended period of time. That is a major, major blow to the excitement to watch this team the rest of the way, which I have none of, by the way. After blowing this game against Milwaukee and the game against the Mavericks, the Thunder, the Nets, all before the All-Star break. The Bulls won too. There is no reason for me to have joy and excitement to watch this team on a nightly basis. I'm truly, truly sick of it. But I want to show some love to Nikola Jovic. Spam his jersey number 5, down in the comments section. I want to show Jovic some love. Hopefully he recovers however long it takes him the right way, and he comes back better than ever, because he is a key piece for the future of this Heat organization. Shout out to Jovic. But the question is that what goes forward here for the Heat? Because if Jovic is out for the remainder of the season, not only is that a killer for the future of this team and what you want to see with this unit, but you also have to question who steps up next in the rotation. In the first half of this game against the Bucks, Erik Spoelstra only went 8 players deep. In the first half, the only players to check in off the bench was Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier, and Nikola Jovic. The starters were Mitchell, Hero, Ware, Adebayo, and Wiggins. So the Heat were playing a playoff-type rotation where they only went 8 deep in the first half, which I did not hate whatsoever, because it's time to start playing your best players and winning basketball. But then with that injury and the rotation being thrown off, I was curious to see where Erik Spoelstra went with the rotation. Who was going to fill that void of Nikola Jovic as that wing/forward off the bench? You have Haywood Highsmith to choose from, Kyle Anderson, Alec Burks, Jaime Jaquez Jr., second-round pick Paul Larson. It was very fascinating to see who he ultimately chose, and his decision ultimately was Kyle Anderson. And we're going to talk about that decision and if it's going to stay that here in just a second. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's so easy to play. All you do is pick more or less on 2 or more player stat projections, and you can have a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And Prize Picks right now, they invented the flex play where you can cash out even if you go 2 of 3, potentially. Yeah, you heard me. You can double your money even if your lineup isn't perfect. They also put their members first, so all withdrawals are safe, fast, and secure. Get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. They also have weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. I actually did a really good lineup for tonight so far. If you're watching this before the Thunder Timberwolves game late, you'll know if I ultimately won. But I went 3 for 3 in the Heat Bucks game. More than on Ware, 9 points. He had 12. Less than on Rozier, 8.5 points. He had 2. More than on Hero and Giannis combined, 48 points. Yeah, they combined for like 60 plus. That's how good they were today. So I just need Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get 26 points because they actually gave a flash promotion on SGA's points. You see it there going down from 30.5 to 25.5. Prize Picks just does those flash deals. It's truly, truly awesome. Join me and the millions of others on Prize Picks right now. Download the app. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download Prize Picks, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, as we get back to talking about the Heat and what's next for the rotation, Jovic's going to be out for an extended period of time. And it's not like it's the NFL where you can place someone on IR. He is still going to occupy a roster spot. By the way, Miami's roster is completely full at 15 players. So there is not going to be someone signed to a standard contract going forward to replace Nikola Jovic. Now, I will say going forward, if you're starting to expect what Miami could get on a nightly basis off the bench, which Miami is going to need desperately because you only got 12 points off the bench in this game out of your 113. So the starters combined for 101 of your 113 points, and 7 of them came from Jovic. So you take away him, the Heat got actually no points in the second half from their bench. Duncan Robinson's 1-3 came in the first half. Rozier's 2 free throws came in the first half. So the Heat got no points in the second half from their bench. All 48 points came from the starters. And that was the issue too late, by the way, which we're not going to talk about that much here. But all of the offense came from Tyler Hero in the fourth quarter, and he just needs help. Bam Adebayo's got to be more aggressive, whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Nikola Jovic. But either way, him being out is terrible for Miami because the Heat do not have a guy like him off the bench that can space the floor, can facilitate, and also provide Miami with functional size. I think Kyle Anderson, who got 9 minutes of play today, didn't score, didn't even take a shot, just had a couple rebounds, will probably be the first man up. But I would probably go to Jaime. I would. And I have talked a lot about how Jaquez has been a negative for this Heat team this season, and he looks washed. But the truth is, he's a second-year player, and he's the only one out of those guys that I think can provide you with anything close to what Jovic can, right? Haywood's the best shooter out of that group. When you're talking about forwards of Anderson, Highsmith, Jaquez, yeah, Haywood's the best shooter and the best defender. But Jaime gives you the most playmaking, the most self-creation. Although it's not a very good self-creating player off the bench, it's better than the others. And that's what made Jovic so special, his ability to create and finish as well. And I think Jaquez is a decent finisher. Anderson's a solid passer too, but the Heat are just going to need to get more athletic. And maybe it depends on the matchup each night. Do they need more size? Maybe it's Kyle Anderson. Do they need more wing defense? Maybe it's Haywood Highsmith. Do they need more creation? Maybe it's Jaime Jaquez Jr. I guess it's going to be up to Eric Spoelstra to try to determine who should be getting those minutes on a nightly basis. But this is a terrible, terrible loss. And it's just so disheartening to watch Jovic get hurt. The Heat have actually gotten pretty good injury luck this season, if we're going to be honest. Yeah, Jimmy missed a lot of time before he even had the suspension stuff, but Hero's only missed 2 games. Bam's only missed 2 games. There's really not been any serious injuries to this team. This is the first. Jovic out with a fractured metacarpal. He'll likely be out 20-plus games in my professional opinion. Not very professional, but it's probably going to be lengthy, which stinks. But make sure you do subscribe to the channel, because when the official diagnosis comes in on Jovic and we have a clear update on how long he's going to be out, we will make a video on that. We also go live for every Heat game. Unfortunately, we'll be live tomorrow for Heat Hawks. I don't want to be live because his team sucks, but it will be. So make sure you subscribe. Join us for the top coverage of the Miami Heat on YouTube. Peace out.